Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. According to a report by the Canadian press, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is scheduled to depart for Europe on Thursday for an official visit to Ireland and France, which will culminate in his attendance at the G7 summit. The summit is set to take place in Evian-les-Bains, France, from June 15th to June 17th, with a primary focus on reducing global inequalities and addressing key geopolitical issues, including support for Ukraine, online child safety, and global governance. Prior to the summit, Prime Minister Carney will make key bilateral stops in Paris and Dublin. In France, he will meet with President Emmanuel Macron to discuss bolstering ties in defense, artificial intelligence, quantum technologies, and critical minerals. In Ireland, Carney's visit marks the first official trip by a Canadian Prime Minister in nearly a decade. He is scheduled to meet with Irish Taoiseach Michael Martin and President Catherine Connolly to discuss cultural ties, economic growth, and the ratification of the Canada-European Union Comprehensive Economic and Trade Agreement, CETA. Bilateral trade between Canada and Ireland reached $6 billion in 2025. According to a report by the Canadian press, tens of thousands of people gathered in Toronto on Sunday, June 7, 2026, to participate in the annual Walk with Israel. The massive event, organized as a show of support for Israel and the local Jewish community, drew a crowd size comparable to the estimated 56,000 participants from the previous year. Due to ongoing tensions in the Middle East and recurring protests in Canada over the conflict in Gaza, Toronto police deployed a heavy security presence along the march route. Authorities increased their numbers to proactively manage potential counter-demonstrations and prevent any direct confrontations between competing groups. Participants carried Israeli flags throughout the demonstration, and Iranian and American flags were also visible within the supportive crowd. This event highlights the continuing domestic impact and strong community sentiments surrounding international geopolitical conflicts. According to City News Everywhere, organizers of Toronto's popular street festivals are experiencing severe financial strain as the costs of staging these events continue to climb. Key expenses, including general suppliers, police staffing, and security measures, have risen significantly. Organizers of Due West Fest noted that their police budget nearly doubled this year to manage massive crowds. Additionally, security costs have jumped following a 2025 tragedy in Vancouver, where a driver drove into a festival crowd, leading to new mandates for hostile vehicle mitigation systems, such as specialized barriers. Supplier costs are also being driven up by high demand linked to preparations for the upcoming FIFA World Cup. Smaller events such as the Taste of North York are also struggling to secure sufficient municipal funding. While the City of Toronto recently approved its first citywide festival strategy and increased its budget by millions, and the Ontario government pledged over $20 million to support province-wide events in 2026, local organizers remain concerned about their long-term survival. They hope to gain direct access to these funds to alleviate the ongoing financial pressures. According to a report by the Canadian press, Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami, ITK, President Natan Obed has reflected warmly on the legacy of Mary Simon as her tenure as Canada's first Indigenous Governor-General comes to an end. Simon, an Inuk woman who has spent decades advocating for Indigenous rights, will be succeeded by former Supreme Court Justice Louise Arbour. Obed praised Simon's unique ability to navigate and balance her Indigenous identity with her official role as the Crown's representative, a dual position that some felt was inherently in conflict. He described her as a humble grandmotherly figure who brought the spirit of reconciliation directly into Reddo Hall, decorating the space with Inuit art and featuring Indigenous cuisine. Despite facing early criticisms and online abuse over her lack of fluency in French, Simon remained forward-focused throughout her term. Obed expressed hope that Simon will continue her community work in retirement, particularly in helping ITK establish the Inuit Nunangat University, which is scheduled to open in 2030. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.